Welcome back to another edition of the Unknown Sports Podcast. My name is AJ Musser. Joined with me, as per usual, is Hunter Harris, but we're missing our third, Austin Fife, today. I didn't realize that we had paid vacation on here.
The dude gets on the logo and he's just like, I'm going to start skipping.
Yeah, he's like, I mean, we've been on vacation this whole time, and he's like, week 2, I gotta go. I'm on vacation week 2.
When I set this up, I put specifically in our, what's they called in school when they give you the thing before school, the syllabus. I put in the syllabus that you had 3 skip days, and he's already using them. It's unbelievable, honestly.
You get 3 skip days?
Uh-huh.
I was kind of impressed that we had PTO, that we had paid time off, but because we don't even get paid to do the podcast, so it's like if you don't show up, that's the one time you do get paid.
Yeah, honestly, that's on you people for listening too. I need more donations coming in immediately. No, we
don't get donations in the first place.
Yeah, no.
Unless your parents are still giving you an allowance, then do we have to do that as taxable income for the podcast?
Do you have to report the money left from the tooth fairy for taxes?
I think if it's if you get 25 cents per tooth, I think if you start getting $1 per tooth, that's when you have to probably report it.
Toddlers are tax fraud all the time. Good grief.
All right. Well, we're going to have a classic show today. We're going to go over the week 2 matchups. We'll talk a little bit about the games from last week. But first, we're going to start today's show off with a little bit of news, if any news comes to your mind, Hunter, or we'll just dive right into our 3 takeaways.
I was not prepared to read the news. Don't throw the news at me.
Let's go with 3
Mostert's
takeaways,
on IR now.
Yeah,
go with that.
Mozart's on IR.
Fitz is on IR. Which I need to cue some sad music for that announcement.
Michael Gallup is on IR. Jerry Jeudy's on IR. That's all I
how
can
many
think
more
of
we got?
off the top of my head.
Gus
That's
Edwards.
what I can
No, we
think
already
of.
talked Gus Edwards, yeah.
Gus Edwards gone for the season, so it doesn't matter. Whereas those guys I mentioned are coming back. So is Fitzpatrick.
Except for Mostert. Mostert's done for the year, at least. That's what he said. He went on IR, but he's like, I'm done. But
yeah.
Which is, dude, these injury, I'll never understand it because I'm not one of those people that just gets injured easily. But, dude, like Mostert, I don't know what he's doing and why he, I don't know. Because, there's players over the years like Curry, for example, Steph Curry. Everybody was all about he's injury prone. He can't be a superstar because of that. He's got too many ankle injuries and stuff. And he, worked on it to strengthen those muscles and stuff. Mostert, on the other hand, it's one thing after another all over the place. It's just weird to me.
Yeah, I don't quite know how ACLs get torn, on non-contact injuries, unless it's just strengthening stuff and stretching. But there's some ACL injuries that you're like, yeah, that guy's knee bent not the right way, and it just ripped.
What was
R.I.P. Marcus Lattimore?
Yeah, what was his injury last year? Was that ACL 2 last year?
I believe it was an ACL, yeah.
Okay, then maybe I don't even know the specifics. Either way, dude's injury prone.
Yeah,
sucks.
Yeah, Carly and I both agreed that we steered clear of him in fantasy drafts this year for that reason, that we just kind of got the vibe that the dude's injury prone, and glad we did.
Sure. Yeah.
Austin went out and spent $140 in the fab.
Oh yeah,
in our fantasy league.
Are you seeing why that's fun though now?
No, it is fun. Yeah, I think it's fun. And for me, who has never played with that system before, for what we're talking about for the listeners, is in some fantasy football leagues, instead of just the waiver wire, you just pick a player in whatever order you are, that's who gets him. What we do is that it's a bidding system with fake money, and we all get $200. And so you bid this fake money on a player, and if you get the player, your money's you purchase the player, but if you don't, then you get your money back.
It's
and
out of our
trading. 200, yeah. Oh my god, that's terrible. That's so bad. That's so bad.
Anyways,
Austin spent almost 75% of his money on one player. But maybe it'll save his season. Maybe that guy will become something. But
tell Carly she needs to check her DMs because I'm sending her trade offers for she wants wide receivers, man. I'll supply her.
Yeah, she's out to dinner right now with her mother and grandma. Shout out to Claude and Momo.
Also want to give another shout out before we move on to the Known Sports podcast. I don't know, AJ, if you've checked on this yet, but when I told you to last night, you should have. I'd probably go look at it now while I'm talking about it. This is a friend of the show who thinks that their fantasy team is way better than the rest of ours when they only pick their fantasy team based off of how well they can smile and Chiefs players. So,
oh my God, don't tell me that this is. Is it Jessica?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Jessica, I just want you to know on Sunday I wore jeans literally all day while I sat on the couch and watched football. Like the whole time.
Did she comment on something of ours or does she follow us?
Yeah, she's following us. Or she might have deleted the account already. She's ashamed of her she's ashamed of her podcast.
I haven't seen any of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that is funny. Did she like anything of ours?
No, of course not.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah. She just critiques.
Shout out.
All right. Yeah, shout out J Ray. So Hunter, let's get started with our 3 takeaways of last week's games. I'll let you go first. What's your first takeaway from Sunday or Thursday or Monday?
Well, I'm starting off first and foremost. The Browns are legit. I had this take before the season. I thought they were going to have a great year. I think that's still the case. And I think honestly that game against the Chiefs proved that they can go out and beat anybody. Yeah, they kicked themselves in the butt a couple times there with the the fumbling the punt and then Baker throwing the pick, but still very impressive game from them, I thought.
Yeah, the John Johnson poorly played ball and the Tyreek Hill deep ball.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Patrick Mahomes chuck on third down. To me, there was 3 big mistakes in that game. It was the John Johnson misplaying that pass, Jamie Gillian, the Scottish Hammer, fumbling the snap, and it didn't seem that there was an issue. Like from the replay I saw, the guy's watching the ball the whole way and just didn't catch the football.
Well, not only that, he drops it and then he goes to kick. He doesn't even try to go to kick it. He just runs with it.
Yeah, I would have been okay if he at least punted it for like 25 yards. And then, the Baker interception, which he said he was trying to throw the ball out of bounds and got tripped up. And yeah, that is what happened. But I'd rather you take a sack or let the ball go later out of your hand when you realize you're going down and just throw it short.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be grounding. You're throwing it in the direction of somebody.
Yeah.
I think there's better ways you can handle it. But also, I'm not the one falling down being chased by 300-pound linemen. So,
yeah.
It's disappointing. But, yeah, they do look good. They played an absolute perfect first half, including Baker. They looked great. I'm with you that the Browns are legit. And I think if they run into the Chiefs in the playoffs, I think they could beat them. They just have to play a perfect game.
Yeah, you have to play a perfect game to beat the Chiefs because an imperfect game for the Chiefs still probably means they're going to win by 20. So,
yep. One of my takeaways is Mac Jones, rookie quarterback for the New England Patriots, is ready to be an NFL quarterback and is ready to be a legit NFL quarterback. I don't know how high his ceiling is, but for a rookie, the guy's pretty freaking good. Let me look at his stats real quick.
Highest completion percentage ever for a rookie quarterback in their debut, I believe it is. Something
Could
like that.
I mean,
something like that. I don't know.
He tore it up to me. He made really good throws. He went 29 of 39 on the game with 281 passing yards and 1 touchdown. and only took 1 sack. No interceptions, no fumbles. Quarterback rating of 75.1 out of 100. That's not bad for a rookie in the NFL in your first start against a good Dolphins defense. I was quite impressed with him. That was a game that I kind of was going back and forth watching bits and pieces of, because you and I had the Packers Saints game on and the Browns Chiefs game on. So it wasn't one that we were totally focused on, but every time I kind of looked over, Mac Jones was making plays left and right, and I was quite impressed with some of the balls he threw.
Absolutely.
So I think Mac Jones is a legit, and I think he'll be a legit quarterback in this league. Like I said, I don't know how high his ceiling is. I don't think he'll be a superstar or elite, but he's going to be like what Alex Smith was with the Chiefs. Like, he could be Pro Bowl level. Like, this guy will get you to the playoffs and do the job.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I don't know what their ceiling is. Also, though, I don't know if the Patriots really need a quarterback that has a super high ceiling to win games, especially with that defense. So
with that defense and with Belichick, I mean, yeah, I think that if I'm Bill Belichick, I might not be happy with the win, but I'm very happy that my quarterback is not the issue anymore. And he can go back to game planning and focus on the rest of the team and doesn't have to think about quarterback because they have their quarterback.
Yeah.
What's another takeaway you've got?
The other takeaway that I had, I just had the Vikings are going to suck this year. It's going to be bad. I said that last episode as well. They just lost to the Bengals. It was a close game, and you might see the stats of, Kirk threw for 350 yards and 2 touchdowns, no picks. They came back and took him into overtime. Well, it was the Bengals they were playing. Bengals suck. That defense for the Bengals sucks. Moreover, Kirk throwing all those yards, it was a very inefficient amount of those of yards there. I believe he threw 50 times. I'll have to double check that. But it's going to be bad, man. And their upcoming schedule, next week they play the Cardinals, then they play the Seahawks, then they play the Browns. I think week 4 we are going to sit there, and afterwards it's going to be 0-4. So they're going to suck.
Yeah. I wasn't impressed with the Vikings. They had the ball in good field position a couple times and just couldn't. I don't know how you can't move the ball offensively. I think their offensive line isn't terrible, but it's not good. You've got a great running back. You've got 2 really good receivers. And Kirk Cousins, all he's got to be is average. So I don't quite know what the issue was. And the defense needs to step it up. Or maybe they're just not good. I don't know, but it looks like, it could be a bad year. And with how the Lions looked against San Francisco, playing all the way till the end, I mean, the Vikings could be the 4th place team in the division, but also the Packers looked so bad they could be the 4th place team. I don't know. It's a fight for the bottom in the NFC North.
Yeah. Yep, it is. Still first place, baby.
My next takeaway I've got is Justin Herbert is the man. I said it last year.
That's what you titled it, is the man.
Yeah, I said it last year, but if Justin Herbert was the quarterback for the Colts, I would 100% have, turned in my resume, turned in my application to revoke my Colts fandom to go along with my Browns fandom. But I mean, I love watching this guy play. When we were sitting there watching football on Sunday, I felt like I was turning to you every time Justin Herbert threw the ball and was like, dude, this guy can just sling it around and places the ball perfectly. He was 31 for 47, 337 yards, a touchdown and an interception. Pretty sure the pick was off of a receiver's hands. I think there was like 5 or 6 drops as well in this game. And the only reason it was close was because of all the drops and fumbles. I mean, they had 1 lost fumble from Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
I
was wondering a little bit more of, okay, with an off season to look at everything, how is it going to be? What kind of defenses are we going to see against Herbert? Maybe people would adjust. No, nothing's changed. He's going to dominate.
And he went against what I think everybody would agree is Washington football team, and he dominated. He played really, really well. I mean, that box score doesn't like jump off the page at you, but 61.1 QBR, but that's because he had one touchdown and one pick. But I mean, if you go and watch the film, if you watch the tape, the guy's placing the balls perfectly. He's got some super zip on his throws. He can throw the ball anywhere on the field and place it perfectly. He's a lot of fun to watch, and I think this Chargers team is going to be one of the most fun teams to watch all season.
Yeah.
Because
not to mention the guys he's got catching the ball.
Yes, Mike Williams. I mean, maybe spend some more time on the what is it called, the jug machine? Yeah, because he had.
But he's still really good too.
Yeah, he's still really good. But and then Keenan Allen's super fun too.
Yeah, but, not to mention Eckler coming out of the backfield too. So.
Yes.
My last takeaway that I have, the Rams are the best team in the NFC. I was in on them obviously as my Super Bowl pick, but I kind of thought that the Bucs would be the best team. I think it's the Rams, dude. Like, they have literally elite.
Literally?
They have literally elite talent at literally every level on both sides of the football. Yeah. They have Stafford. Obviously, the running back position is, whatever. But on the offensive line, they've got a great offensive line. And they have at receiver, obviously, Kupp, Woods, all those. You know what I'm saying, man? Like, it's,
literally, obviously.
Do I keep saying
how
literally?
many more Valley Girl
I apologize.
phrases do you want to have?
I'm stumbling over my thought process here because you're giving me looks.
Sorry,
I'm in my zone, dude.
This podcast is gonna come and just tear you a new one this week. I feel it.
I hope so. God, known sports guy.
But yeah, I know what you're saying.
You know what
it's
I'm
a
saying.
really stacked offense. The defense is stacked. Jalen Ramsey looks like he's playing on another level than any other cornerback in the NFL, which is absurd because he's been already like probably the best cornerback in the league for the past 3 or 4 years. And it looks like he took another step in the right direction, which is unheard of. Like, the guy was an absolute madman out there.
Mm-hmm. We're number 2 now. Gross.
I don't know. I'm kind of digging the single-digit numbers. Patrick Queen wearing 6 kind of threw me off, though.
Patrick Queen wearing 6 is sick, though. Like, he looks massive. But
my third takeaway from week 1 is Peyton and Eli Manning. As a Monday night booth on their own thing on ESPN2. That first 5 or 6 minutes of the first quarter was kind of rough of them figuring it out. And then they were like, hey, let's cut this crap that we were doing with the helmets and the fake play calling. And let's just talk football. And once they were just talking football with the guests they had on and with each other, it was like, oh my gosh, this is like the greatest viewing experience ever. This is the closest I'm ever going to come to sitting on a couch with Peyton and Eli Manning watching a football game. And that's what it felt like to me as I watched that game that night, was like I really did not care that I didn't hear play-by-play announcers, and there's play-by-play announcers that I really like and color commentators that I really like. But just getting to hear 2 guys that know football inside and out. Mm-hmm. Also, I think the whole having guests on each quarter is great. Charles Barkley was entertaining. Idea, yes. It's like, cool, let's hear some entertainment. But then second quarter, you hear Ray Lewis come on, and that guy's football mind is out of this world, just like Peyton and Eli's offensive mind. He counters it with the defense, and it was really cool to hear those guys.
That was the best part of the night for me, the Ray Lewis part.
Yeah, those guys spitballing back and forth of, this is what I'm looking at. Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Well, what if I were to do this? And like, just like the mental games that they were talking about that take place on an NFL field were incredible. Travis Kelce comes on. It's a little bit entertaining. And then Russell Wilson to finish off the night. That guy was amazing on there as well.
And Russell Wilson's usually pretty boring, but he was actually pretty good.
Yes. He fit on that couch like the 3 of them had been rehearsing that for weeks. Like, they were really good together. But yeah, that was my third.
Do you have anything critical of it?
The only thing I was critical of was the first couple minutes when they were putting on the helmet and stuff, and they were doing, the fake plays, and they were trying to. It was a little bit. It was corny. Like they were trying to be funny, or they were trying to be entertaining. Yeah. And then after Charles left, they must have went to commercial or whatever, and it seemed like Peyton and Eli were like, hey, that's dumb. I just don't want. Let's just not do that. Let's get rid of all of that and let's just talk.
I agree.
And once they just got to, hey, let's just talk. I think that's where everybody watching it, because I was looking at Twitter that night too, just to see what other reactions were going on, and everybody was all about it. I didn't see any negative commentary about it. Did you?
No. Like, the only note I guess I would have is I wish that Peyton didn't feel like he had to play host, and like occasionally talk to the audience, like, okay, audience, like this is what I mean. I kind of wish he would just speak full fluent football talk and just be like figure it out or go watch the other channel, I don't need to be I don't need to be explained what a cover 3 is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but see, when you put it that way, just like how the Nickelodeon thing did it last year, and they explained it to the point where it was like, oh my gosh, like I can't stand this because you're trying to teach a 2-year-old how football works. Yeah. I don't think they talked like that.
No, I think it wasn't like that.
I think he tried to provide you with more insight of like, hey, this is what cover 3 is. A great way to pick it up. This is how I picked it up, is you watch the linebacker's hips or you watch the safety's hips. And it's like, whoa. And then he would highlight it, and it's like, okay, I see what he's saying. It's making it so that the viewer can all of a sudden read a defense a little bit, which is awesome.
I know I gotta remember that other people don't understand football as well as you and I do. But it's just one of those things where I mean,
they've got to teach it to the simple-minded people like Austin.
Yeah. Austin, for real.
Yeah, we got to take our shots at him when he's not here.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to listen.
No, there's no way he listens. There's literally no way he's going to listen to this. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, my real last third point was Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray was insane this weekend. I won't touch on it too much, but he also played out of his mind. I know you thought the Cardinals played really well. Do you have anything to add to that?
I had the take before that they were going to lose that game, obviously, and I didn't think they were going to be good at all this year. That was a reflection more of Cliff Kingsbury than anything. I love Kyler. I don't know if I've said that before. Love watching Kyler Murray. Okay. Yeah, I love watching Kyler Murray, and as evidence, I love Russell Wilson too.
Yeah, I think we all agree on this podcast that we really enjoy some Kyler Murray. We think that he is an uber talent, and it's up to Cliff Kingsbury to bring out the most of it, and it looked like he actually did that, or took a step in the right direction of doing that. But I'm curious to see if they do the typical Cardinals thing they've done the past 2 years and take a step backwards in week 2. Or if they can keep going in the right direction and like string together some early wins.
Credit to Cliff Kingsbury. He had his guys ready to go and had a good game plan and everything. But my takeaway from that on the Cardinals side is the whole Cardinals team's just going to be better than I thought it was. They might once again have 3 playoff teams in that division. Yep. The Cardinals are just their offense can be good enough to where their defense doesn't have to be great. And then like last week when the defensive front is getting this job done,
Chandler Jones.
Yeah, raise a truly to that.
Yeah, 5 sacks for you, bro, Chacho.
Was it 5? Was it 5? I thought it might be 6.
No, it was 5.
Okay, it was 5.
Nope.
Okay. Still unbelievable.
Go get paid. Go get that contract. He's waiting on it, dude.
I know, right? He might get the double-digit sacks by week 2.
I mean, that'd be insane to get 10 sacks in 2 weeks.
Because who's he playing? I'm trying to remember who's he playing. It's some bad offensive line.
Well, you know what? It's time for us to transition to. Do you want to transition to the picks, or do you want to do the new segment we've got?
The new segment?
The new segment, dude.
I don't remember the new segment.
AJ's top 10 QBs.
Oh, AJ's top 10?
AJ's top 10.
Let's save that for the end of the game. End of the podcast.
All right.
Sounds like
that'll be the grand finale.
If I've ever
that is a
one.
grand finale. All right, then let's get going. Thursday night football. We've got the New York Football Giants at the Washington Football Team. Lots of footballs in this one. Washington's a 3-point favorite in this one. Hunter, who do you like?
It's Washington. The Giants.
Washington.
The Giants might be the worst team in the league, or close to it. Who I mean, who else would you put there? As far as worst team in the league,
but Jacksonville I think maybe the Giants could beat them. No, dude. After watching the Lions play the Niners, I don't. They're not good. They're one of the bottom teams, but they are better than the bottom teams.
It's Washington -3 in this game easily. I don't care that Taylor Heinicke is playing quarterback, who did not look good last week, but
I don't know what you're talking about. Taylor Heinicke went 11 of 15, 122 yards, 1 touchdown.
I know you're reading
QBR.
I know you're reading the box score there, but I'm saying when you watch the game, I was not that impressed.
I thought some of his balls were pretty good. The one he had to McLaurin on the sideline, that McLaurin made an insane catch. That was not a good throw. That is like crazy bailed out. Terry McLaurin said it was the most difficult catch he's ever made in his life. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't see that, no.
Yeah. Crazy catch. I also took the football team as well. I thought that Washington in a 3-point favorite. I think it's only that low because Heineke's taking over on a short week. But I think he's good enough to get it done.
Yeah.
And I don't think this Giants team is going to get an offense going against that Washington defense.
Not at all. I'm trying to debate if I want to set aside time tomorrow night to watch this game, with my full attention. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll probably watch some of it. If it's good, I might end up watching the whole thing. But if it's not good, then
do you even have fantasy guys in this matchup? Because I have Gibson, and that's it.
I'd have to look at my fantasy team.
Yeah, I don't know. I have
Sterling
Shepard on my dynasty. Darius Slayton on my taxi squad.
Carly's work team. When she had an auto draft, remember? It's got 3 Washington players on her team.
Oh my goodness.
She's got Gibson, McLaurin, and Logan Thomas.
Well, good thing
so
they
she's
can all
going to be
score.
invested, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, they can score. I guess a touchdown of possession.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, let's move on to our next game. We've got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Chicago Bears. Bears are 2.5-point favorites at home. I went with the Bengals on this one. Cincinnati looked like they were pretty competitive against a mediocre offense and a mediocre defense. I think Chicago might have an average defense, but they have the mediocre offense without Justin Fields back there. So I think this game's actually going to be close and competitive. Could be a 1-score game that Chicago wins with, but I could also see Cincinnati walking away with the dub in this one as well. So I'm going with the Bengals.
I don't think I'm going to pick I don't think I'm going to pick the Bears in any of these games until Fields is playing, because what I saw from Dalton was very, very poor on Sunday night. Give me the Bengals.
How long of a leash? I guess it's not even a leash. How long, in your opinion, when do you think they're going to play Justin Fields full time? Do you think he'll get more
when
snaps?
do you think they will?
No, when do you think they will? When should they? It's Sunday. That's when they should.
It's last Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah. When will they? I don't even know when that is.
Man, I really don't know. Like I told you guys, you and Austin, this I think it was on the podcast, that he was gonna wait probably to play him to the end of the season, so that all of a sudden, oh look, we have hope now. Don't fire me, please. Let me have another year.
I think I said it to you guys as well, that I wonder, or in the group chat, I wonder if it's Matt Nagy just doing this thing where he's going to sit him and then all of a sudden he's going to be great and be like, see what happened when he got to sit and took all this time to improve. And he's going to take it as like, I'm really big brained. Yeah, I did this when, at practice. It's like, no, dude, like he came out and went 2 of 2 and had a rushing touchdown. Like, I think the guy can play. Like, I don't understand.
I don't think there's anybody that thinks he can't right now besides Matt Nagy. So,
yeah.
Yep.
Let's move on to the next game. We've got the Cleveland Browns hosting the Houston Texans. Cleveland's a 12.5-point favorite in this one. Who you got?
They're going to slaughter them. Give me the Browns.
You think so?
Yes.
I took the Texans because they seem to put up points pretty well. last week against Jacksonville, and I think this Browns defense needs to take this game as a challenge, and I don't know if they'll blow them out. I think they'll win, but I think Houston might cover. So I'm taking the points, but I'm taking Cleveland to win.
They might cover. Tyrod's enough to not lose you games. I just don't think he's enough to cover 8.5 right now. He's not that good.
I think it's a pretty big revenge game for Tyrod Taylor. I mean, coming back, just embarrassed from Hard Knocks, pushed aside by Baker Mayfield and the Browns. I think he's on a little revenge tour. Went 21 of 33, 291 yards, 2 touchdowns, QBR of 76.1 against Jacksonville. That's a pretty solid game.
You might be right. They might have enough to cover because at least the Vegas line early, it hasn't moved at all yet, and the majority of the money is on the Browns minus 12.5. So it makes me think there's something we don't know here, or at least I don't know. You know it, obviously. So you might be right, is what I'm saying.
Hey, if I'm wrong, I don't care. I'm wrong because that means that the Browns smushed them. So I'd be okay with that. And if the Browns want to be an elite team, which I hope they want to be an elite team, you have to smush the weaker teams and the bottom teams. So I'm hoping they come out and lay down the hammer. Anything you're looking forward to in this Browns game? Any players you're looking forward to? I don't think OBJ's playing. I think it's
he's already out.
Questionable. But
he's already out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I guess
he hasn't even practiced fully with contact yet, which I'm okay with. I'm definitely okay with it because it doesn't sound like there's a tweak or anything. I think they're just working him back in until he feels like he's absolutely 100% because there's no point of getting him back early because then he just gets hurt again. And that's what's happened with him for the past 2 years. So I think they're waiting for him to say, no, I'm good. I trust my knees. My hips feel good because that was an issue as well. Feet feel good. Everything 100%. Let's do this. And I think that's when they should go. And I'm okay with that because I think that receiving group is really good and really deep. I don't think they need him until he's 100% healthy. And I think that Kevin Stefanski and that whole team would agree with me.
What's that number 10's name again?
Anthony Schwartz. He's the rookie from Auburn.
Schwartz.
Yeah, I like him. I love me some Rashad Higgins.
Plus they have Kareem Hunt coming out of the backfield and Chubb. Yeah. So
Peoples-Jones has been playing pretty well.
Njoku played well.
Njoku played well. Hooper's good.
Looked like a monster.
And then you've got the heart and soul of the team in Jarvis Landry, also, who just tears it up every week. You said heart and soul
for a second there. I thought you were going to say Devin Kajust. I was like, what?
No.
He's back?
No. R.I.P. Hit me up on LinkedIn, brother. Let's move on to the Rams at the Indianapolis Colts. Rams are a 3.5-point favorite on the road. You've been pretty high on the Colts, but it sounds like you're higher on the Rams. Who are you taking in this one?
Yes, I am higher on the Rams, and I'm going to go with the Rams. But I want to ask you a little bit more. What did you think of what you saw from the Colts? Because what I saw, bad offensive line play mixed with Carson holding the ball as he usually does. That's my biggest critique of him, honestly, more than the turnovers, is holding onto the ball.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think Carson Wentz double patting the ball, trying to burp the baby. The offensive line isn't the same without Quentin Nelson in there, who's still trying to get back. The offensive line looks shaky. I know everyone else is a huge fan of John Taylor, whatever his name is, James Taylor. Jonathan Taylor, same difference. 17 carries for 56 yards. Maybe it's just a credit to how bad the offensive line was playing, but
I like Jonathan Taylor, so I'm not with you on that one. But
you don't have to be. But what I dislike even more than him is that Colts receiving core. I think it's massively overrated. I don't think Michael Pittman's a great receiver. Pascal's not. Paris Campbell's hit or miss, and what's his name? T.Y. can't stay healthy or get on the field to save his life right now. So I think it's a really bad receiving core, and I don't think that helps out Carson Wentz either because his receivers can't get open. So I'm not even going to sit here and rip on Carson Wentz. I just think it's a bad Colts offense. And I think that the defense, though, is the only thing that can kind of keep them in games. But it's the same issue that the Bears have been having. Like, if your offense can't get anything going and your defense is going to be the one that you have to have win, eventually they're going to get tired and break down.
So Quentin Nelson was not playing in this game, correct? He was injured, or he wasn't 100%?
Was he COVID, or was he
coming COVID?
Back from injury still?
All right, I got to look this up. I forget the reason. He's not 100% for sure if he was in there. I don't remember.
No, he wasn't in there. I know he didn't play.
Okay. Anyways, it was.
I'm going with the Rams as well, though, and it's not even a Colts thing. It's just that Rams team is that good. Matt Stafford and that Rams offense look insanely powerful. I think Sean McVay, if he has any issues this season with that team, I think it's on him because the weapons are there, the line is there, and the defense is solid, and I don't think they're going to have any issues with that. All right, let's move on to our next game. We've got a AFC East battle. The Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins. Buffalo, a 3.5-point favorite on the road, despite not looking great against Pittsburgh last weekend. Offense seemed to struggle a little bit, whereas the defense, I'm not going to pin that loss at all on the defense because they really, I mean, if you look at that box score, Big Ben played like garbage and they still won. But credit to Pittsburgh's defense for kind of stifling the Buffalo Bills offense. What do you think about in this game? 3.5 points for Buffalo.
You know, I think that the Bills are looking to rebound here. Obviously, I want to touch on last week a little bit more. Josh Allen played awful, which I always love to take a dig on Josh Allen when I can, but it was not pretty. I really do think though they're going to respond this week. It's a thing that happens with Allen. Like, he's just inconsistent, and I've said this over, I don't know, 2 years now. I've said this. Dude's just inconsistent. He's gonna bounce back next week. I don't have a problem taking them -3.5 here. If you were to bet it, get that down to 3. Don't be a moron. But the Dolphins did play well last week too, and Tua played well as well, so you got to give them credit. But I just think it's going to be one of those bounce back type of weeks. Plus, last year when we saw this matchup, all chips on the table for the Dolphins, they got slaughtered.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bills in this one because I don't trust Miami's offense. If this is a defensive battle and Miami's defense shows up and Buffalo's defense shows up, I still trust Buffalo to score more points than Miami because I'm not impressed with Tua. I did say on last week's podcast, I just had a gut feeling that Buffalo was going to start out slow. And so far, I'm not wrong. But I hope they take this game to turn it around because I am a Josh Allen fan. I do enjoy watching him play. I do think he's a great quarterback. But they need to get back on track this week and prove me wrong that they're not going to get off to a slow start.
Yep.
But I don't know if that's going to happen. I just have this gut feeling that they're just going to – I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year. I think they'll probably be like a 10-7 team this year.
Yeah.
And people are going to be asking questions as to why they're 10-7.
I think that's very fair. It's kind of one of those – when you have as good of a year as they did last year, it's just one of those things.
It's just hard to follow it up. Like, and there's always a team that takes a step back that's really impressive, and I think Buffalo might be that team in the AFC this year that takes the big step backwards.
Yep.
Not that I want it to be, because I absolutely don't. I would much rather other teams take the big step backwards. Maybe even a team that lives in Missouri. Maybe a team that even more specifically lives in Kansas City, Missouri. I would love for a team like that to take a big step backwards.
Not to name names.
So who'd you take in this game? The Bills?
Yeah, I took the Bills.
I took the Bills as well. I think that's enough of that AFC East matchup. Let's move on to the other one, the Patriots at the Jets.
That was smooth. You're such a good host.
Yeah, thanks, dude. New England is 6-point favorites on the road up in New York.
What was that?
Taking on that's my New York accent. Or maybe that's Boston, my bad. I think I was down at the Habba for that one.
Are you waiting for me to do mine? Because I'm not going to do it on the
podcast. No, I was actually debating on whether I did like a Cheers impression of Cliff, the postman, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna stoop that low. New England 6-point favorites in New York. I talked Mac Jones up already. I think the Patriots are on the comeback. I think they're going to be a much better team this year, maybe 9-8, 10-7. I think they'll be fighting for a wild card spot. I'm taking the Patriots in this one. Jets still have some work to do.
I hate how in line we are with our picks. If this was a 3:00 game, does it feel to you ever like these AFC East games get weird in the 3:00 window, but in the noon window they always seem to go as we think? No? Yeah. Like I feel like every time the Patriots are playing an AFC East team in the noon window, they just slaughter them. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's kind of like how Kirk Cousins is with prime time against noon games.
Gosh,
he likes the noon games, the 1:00 games Eastern time.
Exactly like that. Except for the fact, in this case, the Patriots are actually good, and they're going to roll the Jets here. Unfortunately, I like Wilson to backdoor cover a lot of games this year, and I'm going to be picking him a lot. Heads up, listeners, but not this week, not against the Patriots.
Who are you not picking up against the Patriots?
The Jets to backdoor cover.
So, oh yeah, no. I'm taking the Patriots as well. I think that's enough Patriots and Jets talk.
Yep.
Let's move on to another game that I think could be a sneaky good matchup. Is the San Francisco 49ers at the Philadelphia Eagles. San Francisco's 3.5-point favorite on the road. Despite the Eagles looking pretty good last week and the Niners kind of almost pulling a choke job in Detroit. What do you think about this matchup? Who do you like?
Obviously the Niners are very injured at the running back position, and I don't think that matters at all. It's going to be the Niners by, honestly, a touchdown or more. Kind of one of those things I threw to – was it you that I was talking to, AJ, where I was like, I'm not sure about my Eagles pick last week because it seems like one of the – no, it was Austin. It seems like one of those things where – when in week one, a lot of everything is kind of reset as far as like you got new coordinators, got new game plans, all that stuff, new year, new everything like that. The thing that was going to be the difference maker to me in last week's game, I thought was going to be coaching, but what it actually ended up being was Jalen Hurts' legs. When he was extending plays there and kind of making it happen, it was enough to win a week one game. I don't think that's going to happen against a team as good as the Niners in week 2.
I'm going to kind of go against what you said there, and I'm going to do something I didn't think I would ever do, but I'm going to give Nick Sirianni some credit because that Eagles team looked like they were ready to play. That guy he's garbage at a microphone. He sounds like an idiot. I think he should probably have a personal assistant that just says things for him because he's so bad at the microphone. But at coaching football, I really don't think he did that bad. They were aggressive with their play calling. He let Jalen Hurts play. He didn't have training wheels on the offense, and I think he let Jalen Hurts be Jalen Hurts. And I'm with you. I think Jalen Hurts was a huge part of that game, and he played really well. But I'm also impressed with the coaching.
So you're putting your money where your mouth is and taking the Eagles this week to win outright?
I'm not, because it's 3.5 points, and I think that San Francisco is going to win by 4, but I do think it's going to be a close game.
Okay, all right.
I want to agree with you as well on the running back situation for the Niners. I think anyone can run in that offense. It's just a plug-and-play thing. I think you and I could run for that team. We'd get 30 yards in a game on 20 carries, I think, which is insane because we're both your young 20s out of shape and I'm late 20s out of shape, but I think I could get 30 rushing yards.
Speak for yourself, but I would average 6 a carry at least.
Yeah. 6 inches.
I would be a really patient runner, which is another way of saying slow.
But yeah, I don't really have anything else to add in this one. Do you think Trey Lance gets a few more snaps this game?
Dude, I don't. He should be playing already, shouldn't he?
I think that's a different situation than it is in Chicago. I think San Francisco kind of running a dual system to get him more reps as they go to transfer it to him. Maybe later on in the season is good, because I think this is a team that could go to a Super Bowl, whereas the Bears aren't even a playoff team. So I think they should just get Justin Fields in there now because they have nothing to lose, whereas the Niners roster is built to win a Super Bowl.
I think we've already seen, though, that the Niners with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback cannot win a Super Bowl.
No, I'm with you, but they can get to the playoffs, and I think you need to get – I mean, last I checked, you had to get to the playoffs to get to the Super Bowl. So right, I think easing him into it, getting him more snaps every week, and then he just eventually takes over.
You don't think they could put Trey Lance in there and he could give them what Garoppolo's giving them right now, though?
I don't know. I don't see enough of their practice. I don't know enough about their practices to hear how he's doing in practice.
Okay.
I hear the last I heard was he makes some wild throws, he makes some wild plays, but he's very inaccurate, just like Josh Allen was. And I think he needs to get more and more snaps each week if you want him to grow. Because him taking like the second most snaps at practice or whatever, and then like 3 or 4 snaps in a game isn't going to be enough to develop him, whereas Josh Allen got to work out all of those kinks. So, if you want to win a Super Bowl and breed him along the way, I think you need to just kind of run a dual quarterback system, which is unheard of in the NFL. But if anyone's going to do it, I think Kyle Shanahan could do it.
No, I was just wondering your opinion on that. I really don't have a strong feeling one way or the other. Because, I mean, if you're winning games, you're winning games. Who am I to sit here and say they should be playing Trey Lance? I just think that it's in their best interest to play the guy with the higher ceiling, because we've already seen what the guy with the lower ceiling has done. And that was when everything was put together that year for him. It still wasn't enough. So,
yep. All right, let's move on to our next game. And it's that time of the show where Hunter loves that I get to announce this team. We've got the Pittsburgh Steelers hosting the undefeated Las Vegas Raiders.
Undefeated.
Half-point favorite. And Hunter, how dare I not pick the Raiders to come out and win week 1? They proved me wrong, dude. They were like, AJ, I don't know what you were thinking. We're going to come out and win in overtime. And I was like, dude, I am sorry, Derek Carr. I am sorry, John Gruden. I'm sorry, Mark Davis. You and your bull haircut penis head. I should not have picked
2
against
shows
you.
in a row. Jeez. My poor mother. I'm so sorry.
Would you prefer if I said wiener head?
Yes.
This didn't drop the F-bomb this time. I'm still taking the Steelers, though, which I'm kind of regretting. But I think the Pittsburgh's defense is so freaking good without blitzing. I just think their pass rush, their front 7, I think that D-line just causes so much havoc by themselves that they can drop those other 7 guys into coverage.
Let me ask you.
I think they're too much to handle.
Let me ask you. What was the turning point in that, and why did the Bills give up that lead and lose to the Steelers that game last week?
Because the Steelers defense kept them in it, and then Big Ben finally put a drive together where he lobbed the ball to Chase Claypool, who they hadn't even targeted yet that game, I don't think. And I don't know why the Steelers don't run their entire offense through Chase Claypool. The guy could be a top 5 receiver in the NFL if he got the targets. And I don't think anyone can disagree with me on that. The guy is 6'5" and runs a 4.3 40.
Top 5 is pushing it.
No, I think he could be. I think he's good enough. I think he has all the attributes there to be a top 5 quarterback. He just doesn't get the targets that top 5 receivers get.
I don't know if I agree with that entirely. I think he could be top 10. top 10 type of guy. That 5 guys at the top of the league are pretty freaking good, man.
I think he is too, but we haven't gotten to see because he doesn't get the ball thrown to him 8 or 9 times a game. Fair. He gets like 3 or 4 tosses.
Yeah, also, on top of that, he doesn't have a quarterback that can do that. So
you're not wrong. What do you think about this game?
Pittsburgh -5.5, taking it. Vegas, it was kind of last week was honestly not one of the prettier wins that I've seen.
No, it wasn't. It was really bad.
I feel like that's a nice way to say it. Even the way they got the game-winning touchdown, they had to bumble their way into that situation to get it in the first place.
Yep.
So, I'll take the Steelers here, who, while I think you guys know how I feel about Mike Tomlin. I think he's overrated. If I haven't said that on the podcast before, there it is. But way better coach than John Gruden. John Gruden sucks, man. This is not. Yeah, he's not good. Pittsburgh -5.5.
How deflating would that have been, though, if after the Raiders scored that touchdown, if Lamar Jackson led the Ravens team? Because, like, they thought they scored the touchdown, and they were celebrating, they were shaking hands and everything, and the game was, like, over, and then they found out they weren't, and then they fumbled on, like, 2 plays later. And then the Ravens start driving. And then, like, how deflating would that have been for that fan base to open up your stadium and you think you have an overtime win and you're losing your minds, your players are losing their minds, and then all of a sudden it's not a touchdown. Next play, you get a holding call or a false start. Play after that, you fumble it and give it over. But Lamar Jackson puts the ball on the ground, which doesn't happen very often. And you somehow sneak a Zay Jones touchdown in there to win it. It was a Raiders win. Let's put it at that. I'm sure
they're tripping over their feet all the way to the finish line there. Yeah,
I'm sure the great and powerful Bewo was thrilled with that game.
Shout out. Dude's doing other dudes' podcasts, but he's not doing ours. What's up with that?
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
Unbelievable.
I guess I didn't pay him enough to be my roommate. Let's move on to our next game. We've got the New Orleans Saints at the Carolina Panthers. Saints are 3.5-point favorites on the road. Jameis Winston looked pretty good last week, man. Famous Jameis could be back, loaded with crab legs, eating dubs.
Did he look that good last week, or did he just have the easiest game of his entire life?
I think he had the best game that he could have had to rekindle the restart of his career. I'm taking the Saints in this one because I think they looked that good. The defense was that good, and Jameis didn't hold them back, and I don't think that the Panthers defense is super great. I don't think they've been super great since Luke Kuechly retired. I think it's another defense they could take advantage of, and I think that Panthers defense or offense will struggle against the Saints defense. So I think it's pretty easy. 3.5 points. I'm taking the Saints.
This is tough for me because I last week we should address this. We haven't even touched on it for literally a second. That game by Jameis against my Packers, I don't think is indicative in any way on who either of these teams are at all. I think first and foremost, the Packers, everything we saw from them was just it was a mistake. It was a joke. I don't know what else to call it. But I don't think that's who they are. As far as the Saints go, the performance that Jameis had, I think, was a result of that. He was getting short fields. He was getting, he threw 5 touchdowns on how many yards? 100.
I'm looking right now because that was what I was thinking. I think he did it in less. I think he was the only quarterback in NFL history to have 5 passing touchdowns and under 150 passing yards. He had 148 passing yards.
Like, come on. Plus on top
92 and a half QBR though.
Jeez. That's not even that great.
92 and a half out of 100.
Oh, QBR. Okay.
QBR, yeah, not passer rating.
I was like, what? What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. he had short fields, and plus he had that one play where it was totally Jameis, and he was just threw one into coverage for no reason, and that one got called back, and I think that would have been
I just think
typical Jameis.
Of all places that superstition might exist, it's New Orleans. And I think Jameis Winston wearing the Aaron Brooks number 2 is just kindling some voodoo magic, and he's harnessing some of Aaron Brooks's talent. And his talent with the raw talent that Jameis Winston had, I think Jameis Winston could be a new person wearing that number 2. If he ever changes his number, he's going to be garbage. But as long as he wears that New Orleans Saints black and gold, white, black and gold, whatever colors you want to call them, that number 2, I think he's going to be on a new level.
He's back to giving interviews too, like the old Jameis we know. I'm going to actually play this through the mic because it's just so freaking... Oh, I can't because it's copyrighted now. Dang it.
Yeah.
Do you see that clip, though?
Do that. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That was quite the funny clip. For those of you that are wondering, I think if you just YouTube Jameis Winston's post-game interview, it'll probably be the top thing that pops up. It's like 4 seconds long, but it's very funny.
Incredible.
So who do you have in this game?
I'm taking the Saints as well. We're like, aren't we completely lined up on this? Like entirely? Like we're making the same picks?
No, you took the Browns. I took the Texans. That's the only
one different?
Yeah.
Disappointing. Sorry, the show sucks, people.
I think we've had some pretty good insight on teams, but whatever. Next up, we've got the Denver Broncos, City by the Bay, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Denver's a 6-point favorite on the road. I honestly think this would be bigger if they were the home team. I know you always say, home and away is 3 points difference. But I'm going with Denver. Jacksonville looked terrible. I don't think they're good. I think it's kind of funny that I never heard. I didn't know until yesterday that Trevor Lawrence threw 3 interceptions because all I heard was that he threw 3 touchdowns. I think everybody wants to talk this guy up, and no one wants to say anything bad about him. And guy went 3 touchdowns, 3 picks, over 300 yards. It's like, it's kind of sounds like a Jameis Winston game.
It wasn't the best.
No, and it wasn't a game that I even turned on. I don't know how many Jacksonville games I will turn on because they're that bad. Without Gardner Minshew there, I don't feel like they can win a game. He's the heart and soul of Duval, and nobody can argue with me on that.
Move the team to London already.
Don't get me going on that. No.
They suck, man. I'm taking Denver here. I don't really feel like I have to explain why. Teddy Bridgewater is enough. That's my reasoning. Go with that.
Yep. Broncos win by 10. Next on the list, we've got the Minnesota Vikings at the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona's a 3.5-point favorite at home. I think that's disgraceful and insulting to the Cardinals after the game they played, and how bad the Vikings played. This is easy. I'm taking the Cardinals all day. And I don't feel like I need to explain myself on that one either. There's no way that the Vikings can keep up. The only way the Cardinals don't win this game by a lot is if they do what I talked about earlier and they don't take a step in the right direction. And they took one big step forward last week, and maybe I hope they don't take one step back, but that would be right up Cliff Kingsbury's 500 winning percentage alley. What do you think?
I agree with you. Cardinals, we know how I feel about the Vikings. They're awful.
Yeah, I think we talked about them enough earlier, too.
Yeah,
I really don't need to talk about them.
I think that's enough. Cardinals all day. Plus, they're at home, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's what kind of blows my mind about that number, too, is that it's 3.5 at home.
I don't know who's giving the Vikings respect right now, but hey, maybe they know something I don't.
Next up, we've got the Atlanta Falcons at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, little NFC South action. Tampa Bay is 12.5 points favorites. What do you think about this one?
12.5 is way too much. Way too much. I know how bad they looked. The Falcons did, I mean. But I still think it's just figuring it out with a new coach type of deal. They're not going to be good at all this year. I said they were going to turn the corner a little bit. Might have been wrong on that one. But I think they're good enough to cover 12.5. What do you think?
We're lining up too much. I've already got these written down too, by the way. I was taking the Falcons in this one.
Really?
Because I think 12.5 is a big number. And I think, to me, this is the biggest game of the season for Arthur Smith, the Falcons coach, because if they are at least competitive and they make this game close when Tampa Bay is still trying to figure it out at the beginning of this season and try to figure out what they've got this year. They just had some guys get banged up last week in their defensive backs. I think now is the chance to jump on them, and you got to come out aggressive, and you've got to look good, mainly as a new coach in the league, like as a new head coach in the league. And from his press conference, what I heard, he sounded pretty frustrated, and he took a lot of the blame on him. I expect them to turn it around this week, and if they don't turn it around, this is going to be a team with a top 5 draft pick at the end of the season because they're not going to figure it out. I think they either get it together this week or they're just a bottom team in the league this year. They'll come in last in that division.
He's gonna.
I'm gonna trust Matty Ice.
Yeah, he really tried last week to set the tone with running the ball, and I think that's going to be something he cannot do with this team right now. Their offensive line is just not good enough to do that.
It's so bad.
It's not good enough. Dude
them and the Bears
give
and
up
the
establishing
Giants.
the run.
Yeah, those 3 teams could put their offensive lines together, and it wouldn't be any better.
No, seriously, you're right. Yeah, I agree. Falcons. Although the Bucs look pretty freaking unstoppable, so
yeah,
we might both whiff here.
Next on the list, get ready to bet the over. We've got the Dallas Cowboys at the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers opening up their new stadium. They're playing their first home game at SoFi with fans. Do you think that they'll be at half capacity? Not because of COVID restrictions.
Dude, honestly, they should just let in the homeless people to fill up the rest of the stadium.
Put some Justin Herbert jerseys on them.
How do you fix the homeless problem and also get fans at the Chargers game? There you go.
Simple. Get them a free meal. Mm-hmm. Chargers 3.5-point favorites. I'm taking the Chargers because I'm riding this Justin Herbert train, and I'm going to ride it until it crashes, dude, until it goes off the rails. He's my favorite quarterback in the NFL to watch right now. That's literally the only reason. It might not be the smart pick, but it's more of, hey, I want them to win this game. I'm going with the Chargers.
It's not the smart pick, but it is the fun pick, so I feel you on that one. I'm going to take the Cowboys. I just think that the offense is going to be enough to win a couple games here, and it's going to be.
I don't think
Chargers
the defense is.
Week.
I want to talk about that a little bit too. I don't think that defense is that bad. That Cowboys defense.
Really?
I mean, I really don't. I think that secondary. I think Trayvon Diggs. I think he's pushing being a top 5 cornerback in the league. I think Micah Parsons is an incredible talent that needs to figure some more things out and just needs to get some more games under his belt. I hope he doesn't fall into the trap of other Cowboys linebackers becoming injury prone, because he's electric on the defensive end of the field. What's his name? Lawrence. What's his name?
DeMarcus
Lawrence. I think he's playing pretty well. He looked all right.
Did you see the report that just got released before we started the show?
No, what did happen? This is why you were supposed to do the news.
Yeah, I know. I apologize, people.
It's all right.
He is going to be out, I believe, until late November.
Still doesn't change my mind about the Cowboys defense. I think that really hurts their pass rush, but I do think that their secondary is a little bit better than people were giving them credit for. I don't think they're a great defense by any means, but what I'm saying is I think they're improved from last year, and I think it'll help their offense at least win some games. Yeah, you know what I mean. I think they could get a stop or two. Maybe get a clutch 3 and out once or twice a game. Probably just once, but you know what I mean. Improvement from last year.
What's this? We finally have a different pick.
Second one. We're going to agree on this next one, though. We've got the Tennessee Titans traveling all the way across the country to play the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle's a 5.5-point favorite at home. I feel like, I know it wasn't the game that happened last week, but doesn't it feel like that's who played last week? Doesn't it feel like the Titans got destroyed by the Seahawks last week, even though it was the Cardinals? I just feel like it's like deja vu.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no, I feel like it's just deja vu. Like, I think the Titans are just going to get pounded this week by the Seahawks.
I mean, Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray are the same person, right?
Yeah, just younger form.
They're actually very different players.
I think he is faster.
Okay.
I think Kyler Murray's faster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that matters, but
yeah.
What do you think about this game?
Gosh, you gonna throw it to me first? I wanted to hear what you.
I just said that the Seahawks are gonna pound them. I think.
Okay.
I think Russell Wilson, was very efficient. Didn't have to throw the ball around that much. I think Chris Carson played a pretty decent game, shockingly. Seahawks defense isn't great, but no part of the Titans looked any good whatsoever last week. I mean, Derrick Henry had like 6 rushing yards at halftime, which is unheard of, and he probably ended the game with like 20.
No, yeah, I hear you. I'm gonna go with you. I'm taking the Seahawks. But I do think that what we saw from last week from Tennessee is not who they're going to be all season. I think it was just kind of one of those. I mean, that's another team that has a new coach. They're trying to figure it out.
They have a new coordinator, not a new coach.
New coordinator. I apologize.
Yeah,
you know what I mean by that.
Vrabel should have had him ready to play. If I'm going to have one takeaway from the Titans, it's that Julio Jones looks washed up.
Yeah.
He looked bad.
I don't know if I would say washed up. I would say...
that's the perfect word I would use.
Really?
Yeah, I really didn't think he looked good. Watching his routes, they weren't crisp. They weren't very good. They looked lazy. Looked like he was almost out of shape.
I'm not ready to say that yet. I think that we need to see a little bit more of that before we say it's washed. He's still really, really good last year. I'm
saying he looked washed. I'm not saying he is washed. But okay. I'll be the one that says it. You don't even have to agree with it. But I'm the one saying he looked like dog water.
Okay. Derrick Henry having, what? How many yards rushing? Under 10 yards rushing at halftime?
Yeah.
That's not going to happen again for sure. The Seattle defense, I don't think, is going to be able to stop him. So give me the Titans to cover. Actually, I'm gonna switch my pick. I'm doing it.
You going Titans?
Yeah, I'm zagging you.
All right. Derrick Henry finished the game last week, 17 carries, 58 yards. Tannehill finished 21 of 35, 212 yards.
Why am I now the one supporting the Titans and you're not?
I just told you why. I thought they looked really bad last week.
Tannehill's your boy.
Julio Jones looked bad. Yeah, I know, but the play calling, they didn't stick with the game plan of running the ball. I don't. It's not Arthur Smith's offense. I think they need to find themselves. I don't think they have an identity at the moment, and they need to figure it out.
What did you think of Seattle last week? Do you think Russell was cooking?
Efficient. Okay. No, I don't think. I mean, I think he played, like I said, I think he played really efficient.
Thank you for having that take and not just saying, oh, because when did he throw 4 touchdowns?
He did. He threw 4 touchdowns on 20.
A lot of sports shows this week have been saying, this is what happens when you let Russ cook. Guys, he threw the ball 20 times.
Yeah, he threw the ball 23 times, 18 of 23, 254 yards, 4 touchdowns. I think he threw 11 passes by halftime.
It's just efficient offense.
Yes, that's all it was. I mean, and he's an efficient quarterback. He's probably
This is the
one
best.
of the most.
Yeah, this is the best
he's one
version
of the
of
most
him.
efficient quarterbacks there is. He's an accurate quarterback. He's got an. He probably throws one of the best deep balls in the National Football League. Only two people that I think even compete with him on deep ball accuracy is Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. I think it's those three guys for deep balls. Because he throws one of the prettiest deep balls around. Tyler Lockett caught two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Fantasy team, thank you, bro. Yeah, I think I think he just played a really efficient game, and that's all you need him to do.
Which they have a new offensive coordinator too, by the way. The Seahawks do.
He might not have been, Chef Russell Wilson cooking in the kitchen, but he was for sure sous chef.
Just pristine,
dude. Slicing up. Next, we've got the Sunday night game. We've got the Kansas City Chiefs at the
Why
Baltimore
is this
Ravens.
line so low?
Yeah, Kansas City 3.5-point favorites. I don't really think I need to say any more other than that. Like, I'm taking Patrick Mahomes in that one. 3.5 points on the road. Baltimore did not look that good against the Raiders. They couldn't run against the Raiders defense. I know the Chiefs gave up a lot of rushing yards to the Browns, but they kind of figured it out. And I do think Steve Spagnuolo does a really good job of making adjustments at halftime to slow down offenses in the second half, which is all he needs to do to give Patrick Mahomes a chance to win the game. And if the Chiefs are up at halftime and he makes those adjustments, Spagnuolo does, I can't believe I'm like talking this guy up out of anyone on that Chiefs team.
Yeah,
but,
I don't know.
I mean, I know it's a weird take, but I really think it's true with that Chiefs defense. I don't think it's a great defense, but they make really good adjustments and they play good when they need to.
It's just enough. It's literally just enough is what it is.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't need to say anything that hasn't been said before about the Chiefs offense. We know what it is. It's incredible. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback on the planet. Like, it's, I don't know what else I need to say. Travis Kelce's the best tight end in football. Tyreek Hill's one of the best receivers in football. He's the fastest. He knows how to find the seams. They design routes for the guy that he runs into space, and Mahomes just has to chuck it. Like, it's just a really good offense because of the supreme athleticism they have.
It's unstoppable.
Yeah, it's so good.
Chiefs here, 3.5. Like, come on. I don't understand what I'm missing here. Is the fact that the Ravens are at home? Is it the fact that they just got beat? It's the Chiefs. I
think it could be also
football.
Vegas looking at the Chiefs rushing defense because the Browns ran all over them in the first half, and they would have there at the end of the game too, but the costly Chubb fumble kind of ruined that game plan for them, and then they had to be a bit more aggressive.
That's true, but how hurt are the Ravens right now, especially on the back end? They just lost Peters. Like, I don't know.
No, I'm with you. I'm taking the Chiefs.
I'm just asking the question. Like, I don't understand this line.
Maybe I think you'll have to look at the under/over because maybe they just think
it just feels fishy because of that. And whenever you see one of these lines like this, it's just like it's fishy. I don't know. I don't understand it. Either way, Chiefs. I'm taking Chiefs.
All right, let's move on to the Monday night game. We've got the Detroit Lions at the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. The Green Bay Packers. Green Bay 11-point favorites. I can't believe this. I'm going to do it one time. I'm going to do it one time, and I'm never going to do it again, okay? I'm going to give Jordan Burroughs a shout-out, and I'm going to pick the Detroit Lions to cover the spread in this game. They might even win. I was really impressed with this Lions team last week against the 49ers. And I was kind of appalled with how bad the Packers were. And maybe I'm just a bit bitter right now because Aaron Rodgers cost me a dub in fantasy football, getting me 1.39 points. Dude, I want to throw a freaking shoe at him right now. Just kidding. I wouldn't throw a shoe at Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't deserve that. But
he does it for that hair, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I do kind of want to cut the ponytail of his man bun right now and tell him not to do the ponytail. Just let the salad flow, dude.
You have to.
He doesn't need a ponytail.
If you're going to do it, man, it takes more planning than, hey, I'm going to roll out this man bun. You should have been working on this last year so that next year when you come in, you have a better man bun ready
the
to
man
go
bun,
for the season.
the man bun needs to wait. It's not time yet. It's got to get longer.
It's not ripe yet.
Yeah, it's not ripe yet. Yeah. He's just got to let the salad flow right now. Yeah, I'm going with the Lions. The only thing,
just because you think they were good enough last week.
Yes, the only thing I'm nervous about though is Jared Goff playing outdoors. I think this
really that's what you're worried about.
Yep, it really is. I think Jared Goff outdoors isn't as good of a quarterback. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. It's not going to be snowing, obviously. Maybe, I don't know. It's the North. Who knows? The North. But yeah, I'm going Lions. As long as DeAndre Swift's not in prison.
Yeah, I think that you could have already wrote down as long as DeAndre Swift's not in prison.
Yeah. Is he still tied to that murder investigation?
I don't understand what's going on. I don't know, man. Every single week, my new favorite player gets charged with some sort of, I don't know.
I think it's just your choice in character,
dude. Honestly, that's what it is. It's my judge. It's my judge of character.
It's your judgment and character. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going Packers in this one.
Yeah, it's Packers.
Good on you to stand by your team.
Yeah. No, Aaron Rodgers is unbelievable following a loss. It's one of those things, man. Like, if Austin was on right now, he would be saying, like, it's one of those things, with Aaron Rodgers. He just occasionally is going, like, out of nowhere, just going to throw into these games because he doesn't care. Which is true, though. It's true. Aaron Rodgers literally he's due for at least 1 or 2 games a year where it's like, okay, what the heck was that? We just walked through that entire game, and he might even be good during the game, but the rest of the team will just be terrible too. So
yeah, it just didn't even look like they showed up. It didn't look like they even wanted to play. Like nobody's body language. It was like the third quarter, and they're all like, "Can we get on the bus and go home?" Like, don't really want to be here right now. It's like when your mom drags you to that one kid's birthday party that you're not even really friends with, but your mom's like in the same church group as them, so you have to go.
And you have to pick him out what he wants for his birthday.
Yeah, and really you just pick out something you would want and hope that kid's not a complete loser.
Mm-hmm. You pick out some Matchbox cars or something. Oh, he's actually into cards right now, Pokemon cards. Like,
I feel like you've been to at least 13 of those birthday parties.
Yeah, I didn't have friends besides the ones that my mom made for me.
Yeah. Well, that wraps up our picks. Let's quickly, less than 10 minutes. Let's do this. AJ's top 10 QBs.
Yeah, let's.
And so what this ranking is this is not a quarterback ranking of all time or of the future. It's what I think of them right now and what I think of them, where I'm going to place them based on week 1 and my little previous bias on them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through each of these quarterbacks. You want me to go 1 to 10 or 10 to 1?
10 to 1.
Okay.
No, 1 to 10.
Yeah, I think 1 to 10 because we
obvious.
understand. Yeah, we understand what the top is.
Yeah.
And I think you're gonna. I don't know how your reaction's gonna be, and I don't know what Austin's is, so I kind of want him to listen to the podcast to let me. I'm curious as to your guys' reaction of this, but I did put some time into this.
Okay.
But these are my reactions from week 1 and a little bit of my previous bias. Number 1 quarterback, I got Patrick Mahomes. He went 27 of 36, 337 yards, 3 touchdowns, QBR of 88. Looked really good in this game. Didn't really have any signs of rust of, week 1. He's great in September. He's the best quarterback in the world. No question.
Agreed. Move on.
Number 2, Russell Wilson played a super efficient game. Really good for the offense he was in. He's already a top 5 quarterback. And I think he played himself in the number 2 role.
Hold up.
Number 2 spot. Hang on. No. Let me go through. And then I'll go, and then we can discuss after
before you go through, just clarify for me really quick. Are you doing this off of just this year, or is this like top 10 as in who you think the best 10 quarterbacks in the league actually are?
It's a little bit of both. It's more this season and what I've seen from them. This is why Rodgers is not in the 2 spot or 3 spot.
Okay, go ahead.
Number 3, I go Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford, to me, has already been a top 10 quarterback and now is in finally a team that has good weapons that he can thrive in. And he did thrive. 20 of 26, 321 yards, 3 touchdowns, quarterback rating of 89.9 out of 100. Super good game, very efficient game. I think there's still more to come. Number 4, I went Aaron Rodgers, 15 of 28, 133 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks, QBR rating of 13.4. Only reason I have him in here is literally because of previous bias that Aaron Rodgers is top 5 quarterback, but that's why he's been moved down to number 4. Number 5, Kyler Murray, 21 of 32, 289 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, so 5 total touchdowns, 1 pick, quarterback rating of 79.5. Kyler Murray, to me, looks like could be a top 5 quarterback in this league if Cliff Kingsbury doesn't screw it up. But he has all the talent to be an elite all-time quarterback. Number 6, Justin Herbert, same thing, has all the tools to be an elite all-time quarterback. One of the best young arms in football, right next to Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Way more accurate than Josh Allen. But 31 of 47, 337 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Not a great box score, which is why he was a little bit lower. QBR of 61.1. Number 7, I've got Tom Brady, 32 of 50, 379 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, QBR of 65.3. He's not higher because of how I feel about the 2 young guys that I just mentioned above. That's why he's not number 5. Number 8, Dak Prescott, 42 of 58, 403 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, QBR 74.3. Cowboys live and die by Dak Prescott. They have a Super Bowl caliber offense. I said that last week. And if he was not there, they would not be a Super Bowl caliber offense because he is a huge cornerstone of that team and that offense. I think it's actually kind of crazy that we were all debating 2.5 years ago if Dak Prescott deserved money, because I think I don't know. I think he's
now.
Yeah, no, I think he's better now too, but I think he's worth every penny. I don't think he's underpriced and I don't think he's overpriced. I think he's just right at where he's at, but he is absolutely a top 10 quarterback in this league. Number 9, I've got Josh Allen, a little bit because of previous bias, because he did not have a good week. 30 of 51, 270 passing yards, 1 touchdown, no picks, QBR of 40.7. So not good. And my number 10 quarterback, I have Derek Carr, 34 of 56, 435 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, QBR of 52.8. My notable mentions before you say anything is Jameis Winston got a notable mention, Teddy Bridgewater, Mac Jones, Tyrod Taylor, Baker Mayfield.
Okay. I think where to start.
I know. It's a little bit of a different list, and this is a week that we'll do this every week. We'll probably end the show with, and it will only take 10 minutes with it, but it's a list that's going to change every week based on how they play.
My thing is just this list, if you're basing it kind of off of a mixture of things of this year plus past respect, all that stuff, whatever. If you're mixing all that together, why is Rodgers so high then, and why is Lamar Jackson not on the list?
Lamar Jackson's not on the list because and that's one that I was getting lower and lower on my list, and I was like, I don't have Lamar Jackson on here. And you got to remember, this is my top 10 quarterback list. I don't think Lamar Jackson's a top 10 quarterback. Austin would be losing his mind right now, disagreeing with me.
I don't even.
And I
like
just don't
Lamar
think
Jackson,
he had a good enough. And I don't think he had a good enough week to get a notable mention. I don't think Jameis Winston is a top 10 quarterback, but I give him a notable mention because the guy threw 5 touchdown passes. Teddy Bridgewater absolutely is not a top 10 quarterback. Gets a notable mention because he played very, very well game managing, which is all Denver needs him to be. Mac Jones obviously isn't a top 10 quarterback after one game in the NFL. Guy looks really good and looks like he'll be a solid quarterback for years. That's why he gets a notable mention. Tyrod Taylor, same thing, just a seasoned vet. I mean, he's not a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, but looks good. I think he's always been a solid backup, decent starter, better backup than a starter. I think he'll be a good bridge quarterback. He always has been. And then Baker Mayfield played a really good first half, poor second half, and that pick cost them the game. That's what made me leave him outside of the top 10 and put Derek Carr in.
No Kirk on this list either? No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Brady should be higher for sure. I have no, like, he played great last Thursday.
2 picks.
I know. That's Tom Brady for you, though. So.
No, I know. I mean, yeah. And like I said, the reason I didn't have him higher is just because I'm higher on Kyler Murray and Justin Herbert. He would be number 5 if it weren't for those 2 guys. Yeah. And honestly, I wanted to put Murray and Herbert above Rodgers, but couldn't bring myself to doing so. I guess that is probably my bias of me liking Rodgers. So you're right. I probably should have Brady. I probably should have it Mahomes, Wilson, Stafford, Brady, Rodgers, and then Murray, Herbert.
And just, yeah.
But
okay.
Yeah. But like I said, this is week 1. This list will move. People will change. There will be other notable mentions.
Yeah.
Each week. Just a little segment that I thought we'd throw in there from what I observe.
Jameis threw 5 touchdown passes. He's not on those, so what the heck?
I said he was a notable mention. He was the first notable mention with 5 passing touchdowns.
You really think Russell? Where would you? Okay, I know you just did your whole little for the year thing. Okay. If you were taking any quarterback you got this year alone to win it. If we took that perspective, okay. Who are your top 3 actually? Then number 1's obviously Mahomes, but who are 2 and 3?
It kind of depends on what team I have as well. Mahomes is number 1 no matter what. Mahomes can
blank
win the Super
slate
Bowl
across the
team.
board. Blank slate.
That's my first pick.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're saying, fantasy draft. Like you have no roster.
You have no roster. You're going
you
quarterback
get the first quarterback.
Who are you building around for this 1 year?
Well, it's other than Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really hard to not say Tom Brady or Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers then.
Yeah. So
we're
still in
those guys.
We're still locked on this
absolutely,
stuff.
Yeah.
You wouldn't take one of those rookies or not or second year players or like Kyler or
No. And part of them being in here is because of their youth. I think these guys are going to get better.
Yeah.
I think Justin Herbert has one of the best arms in the league already. I mean, I could easily see Josh Allen falling out of this list next week if he plays bad. But like I said, it's a week-to-week thing, and we'll see. If the listeners don't like it, if the listeners laugh at it, you and Austin laugh at it
No.
I might keep doing it.
I like it. I just think that it's a little inconsistent with how you're coming up with guys because, like, Rodgers should be lower if that's the case. You know what I'm saying?
It is. But you know what else is a little inconsistent? The way I think about football.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You can crush me in picks last year and then go out and lay a dud like you did last week.
I can go out and lay a dud. I went 6-10 in my picks last week. I'm not sure what you and Austin did. He's got the master list. So we'll have to hear from him after our picks this week. We'll hear it on the next podcast next week. Hunter, you got anything to add before we sign off?
Long show, but fun show, especially when we don't have Austin. So.
Yep. I think if you made it this far, kudos to you. Give us a like wherever it is on your screen. I'm sure you probably already follow us somewhere on the screen as well. But here's a thumbs up for you and a drink to you for making it to the end. Until next time, take it easy, everybody. Have a good one.